Hello again everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another speed build video in The Sims 4. I hope you're all having the most amazing day ever so far and thank you so much for joining me here today. I hope you're all well. It's so good to be back and we are building a family home in Newcrest, and I've designed this house for a single parent and their 3 children. I'm very excited to share this with you all. The interior of this house is just... I can't wait. I absolutely cannot wait. But before we get too far into today's video, I would like to take a moment to thank today's sponsor. Today's video is brought to you by Blank Space. Blank Space offer over 2,000 beautiful phone cases which can be customised to your own unique style. All cases come with a 12-month warranty for complete peace of mind. I adore my new phone case, and if you'd like to get one for yourself, you can use code RACHEL20 to take advantage of a 20% discount. Thank you so much again to Blank Space for sponsoring today's video. Let's get back to it. So I actually went with a slightly different colour scheme for this house in the end. I did cut some bits out at the end, specifically like just where I was changing the colour of the swatches of things because I was being so indecisive. I know it's so unlike me. I'm incredibly indecisive just as a person in general, but for some reason when it comes to like my builds in The Sims, it becomes a bit worse. At least that's kind of how I think it is. But yeah, it's nothing major. I just wanted to mention it because obviously, like from the thumbnail to how the house is left before we move on to the interior, there's slight discrepancies. So I just wanted to let you know and make you all aware of what I'd changed off camera. But we'll talk a little bit more about it when we get onto those points. But I was working from a reference image actually that I found on Pinterest. So I'll pop that up on screen for you now so that you can see what we were working towards. I adored the shape of this house. I did decide to add an external garage, which is something that I've been doing quite a lot with a lot of my builds recently. I go through phases with external garages, and yeah, I'm just kind of into it at the moment, and that's perfectly fine. So this is where you'll see me trying to kind of work out what sort of colour scheme I wanted to go for with this house. I ended up going quite warm wood tones, which I don't usually do for the windows and then like the roof trims and things like that, so it was kind of nice and refreshing to explore that colour scheme as opposed to just my normal like white windows. What I'll tend to do is I'll tend to add colour in like the shutters or like the flower boxes if I use them. I haven't really been using flower boxes recently. Again, I went through a bit of a phase of using flower boxes on every single one of my builds that I was doing, and then I stopped doing it for a while. With this house I did add some flower boxes, but we do not end up using these ones. Although I do love how these ones look. I'm gonna find a house that I would want to use them with, and like I'm looking back here now because I actually finished building this today, but I started building it yesterday. I'm looking back on it now and I'm like, this looks really cute just like right now as it is. I'm still kind of obsessed with the finished product just because it does look a little bit different from my usual builds, and that's maybe why I like it so much, because it is something a little bit different. Sometimes it's nice to try different things. And then also I am going to make a disclaimer here as well. I actually downloaded the tool mod, and this is the second time that I've downloaded the tool mod. The reason for this was I went on a bit of a rant on X or Twitter yesterday evening when I was building this, because at the front of the house, can you see this like trash can or bin, depending on what you want to call it, and then like there's a tree in this metal sort of piece. I don't really know how else to describe it, and I tried to remove the tree with the tool mod, and then I was told that wasn't possible, so I ended up removing the trash can. That was fine. That was easy enough to do once I kind of got my head around tool. My brain, as it stands now, I'm definitely getting used to the tool mod, and I also downloaded the Better Build Buy mod as well, which I didn't realize how much I needed it, because typically I'll use quite a lot of debug landscaping, and this allows me to basically copy landscaping pieces, because obviously with the game just as is you can't do that, which is a bit of a shame because it makes a bit of a chore, you know, like sifting through the debug menu. You almost have to like pull out 20 of this and 20 of that, and then like just drag them into place, and it's like, ugh, it's a bit time consuming. So there's definitely elements of it that I am using. I've no doubt that I will be using the tool mod to resize perhaps rugs, and maybe I'm going to dabble in changing the rotation of some objects, such as like sticky notes on fridges and things like that. I'm going to do a little bit of playing around off camera so that when I actually come to do it in a speed build, it doesn't look like I do not know what I'm doing, because at this moment in time, that's where I am. So I just thought I'd make that disclaimer. So at the moment, I do not have the tool mod installed as we're going through this portion of the build, but it might not even be something that anybody notices really, but I just thought I'd mention it. There's so many people that have said, Rach, you should try the tool mod, you'll really like it. I do really like it. I think it's a fantastic tool to utilize and to try and get your head around, but it's just going to take some getting used to, like anything else. And then I'm also really scared that I'll become too dependent on it, along with the better build buy, and then every time a new pack comes out or a new patch is released, then it breaks, and then I'll be like, oh well, I'm too used to it now, I'm dependent on this, and now I can't build without it. Does that make sense? That's where my brain goes. Anyway, I've like babbled along through the entire like front of the build, the landscaping, and now we're working on the back garden. The back garden is so cute. It's a fantastic, fun, really lively space. There's plenty of activities for the parent and the kids to get involved with. And I just really like how it turned out. It's super colourful, and I just really like it. This is such a fun house slash build, and I love doing houses like this on the channel. I've done quite a lot of like single households recently. So I did like a single mum house not long back, then I did a single dad house. This is more geared towards just like a single parent, because I wasn't necessarily thinking that it was a mum or a dad, and we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get onto the interior. But with the single dad's house, I kind of went for like more earthy tones and like royal blues. And then with the single mum's house, I think I kind of made everything a little bit mismatchy, but like I threw pops of like peach and pink and softer tones. With this one, there's definitely the softer tones, but it's incredibly mismatched, but in the best way possible. Like it really is. Like I think I'm looking at the footage now, and it's almost 30 minutes long for the speed build. And usually for a house like this, you'd be looking at maybe 20, 22, maybe 23 minutes at the speed that I put it at. And then to say that it's at nearly 30 minutes, I think just shows the level of detail that I went onto, particularly on the interior. So I'm really excited to show you all what the interior looks like, and it's so funny as well. This is okay. Oh no, I haven't installed tool here. I got really excited, but that's exactly what I was talking about earlier. You have to like pull everything out and then place it rather than just copying it, you know. Oh yeah, so that's what I was saying. So when it came to the interior, I tried to do the floor plan 3 times. I filmed each time. I went away, I made myself a coffee, I came back, and I was like, I need to just go in with a blank mind, because I was overthinking it. Shock horror. Like I typically do, I was overthinking it, and then I thought, okay, let's just take a second, step back, it's okay. So when we get onto the interior in just a second, I'll talk you through the process. So I've had a few comments recently about, Rach, you know, you really don't always have to put the stairs right near the front door, you know, like right in the entranceway. And I thought, do you know what? People are right. They're right. I don't have to do that. So, I mean, some may argue that I've still done it here. Okay, I'm weaning myself off it. Okay, I'm weaning myself off. But usually I would put the stairs literally as your Sims walk in, the stairs are there, like directly facing the front door. And then I thought, ooh, let's try and place them in a slightly different area. And I think it just gave the house this completely sort of different vibe, and it allowed me to kind of segregate the spaces, because it's not open plan. It's really not an open plan concept whatsoever. I tried to do an open plan concept with this house, and then I realized it doesn't really work, because this is much more of a traditional sort of suburban home. And I'm not saying for a second that traditional suburban homes can't have open floor plans. Of course they can, they absolutely can. but that's not really the vibe that I wanted to go for with this house. So we do start with the living room. Now, I kind of set the precedent of the kind of colour scheme and where I wanted to go with it by doing the exterior and then moving on to the interior and using this wooden flooring from base game, because it feels like it's been a really long time since I've used this and it's so warm and so comforting. And I thought, right, okay, so let's start on the living room. So that's exactly what we're doing here, picking out some base game siding, which I haven't used in the longest time, but again, using those warm earthy tones just to get across this just level of warmth and family friendliness and just coziness. That's the only word I can choose to describe this house, is that it's just super warm, it's cozy, it's just full of happy memories and just I love it. And this is the kind of family home that I love creating. It really is, and I'll never stop doing it. I just love telling a story through the builds. So speaking of which, I should probably mention a little bit more about the family dynamic that I kind of envisioned would live here. So we've got the single parent. Again, you know, it's not a mum necessarily, it's not a dad, it can be whoever you would like it to be. The colours that I chose and the decor wasn't geared towards either or, so that it really just allows you guys to come in here. You can keep it as it is, but you can put your own stamp on it too. You could switch out some swatches if you wanted to. You could completely rip out the interior and start again. You could kind of do a bit of both, so you could take some of my stuff out, put some of your own stuff in. So yeah, we've got the single parent, we have a newborn, and then, oh no, it's not a newborn, it will be an infant because there is a cot upstairs. Okay, so we have the single parent, we have the infant, and then we have twin children. One's a boy, one's a girl. So that was kind of how I was gearing it, although the kids didn't necessarily have to be boys and girls. They could be whatever you would like them to be. Again, the bedroom's pretty gender neutral apart from the duvet covers on the bed. But we'll talk a little bit more about that when we actually get onto the kids' room, which is, I think, the last room that we decorate of this house. Yes, it is, yeah. But yeah, now we are working on the living room. So again, wanting to go for these warmer tones, there's pops of gold, and then we kind of mismatched the wood tones as well, which I usually it makes me cringe when I do this, but every now and again I'll do it and I'll think, do you know what? This is actually quite realistic. I know in my house in real life, we've tried to keep the wood tones as similar as is possible in the rooms, but unless you're buying like a set of furniture, I feel like that's kind of impossible. So it's very realistic to have wood tones that don't match. I don't know if anyone will agree or disagree with that. Maybe you live in a house where your wood tones match completely, and that's maybe the world that I would like to live in, but I'm completely fine with knowing that my wood tones in my house in real life don't match. And so that's why sometimes I like doing it with my Sims houses as well, and it really does take the pressure off. I feel like I put a lot of pressure on myself sometimes with builds, like, oh, the wood tones have to match. They really don't. I think you get like an eye for things, and does it look good? Does it flow? Does it tell the story? This isn't a sort of interior designer's house. It's not stylish, it's not modern, it's, you know, it's very much a lived in family home, and that's what I wanted to get across with the decor and everything else. So now we start working on the kitchen. The kitchen, I adore how this turned out. This is possibly one of my favorite kitchens that I've done for a very long time. It feels like it's been such a long time since I've said I love this kitchen that I did, and I don't know why. It's there's just something about it that's just super warm and cozy. Again, I'm going to use the words warm and cozy many times throughout this build. So hopefully it doesn't get too irritating. I'll try to keep it on the minimum level, but yeah, so I do use these counters from base game and this rug from the For Rent pack. I've spoken about this rug so many times, and I know when that pack came out, like, one of the first things I'll go to with a pack is I'll go to the rug section and I'll go to the plant section. I know there's going to be people sat there going, oh, right, yeah, no surprise there, Rach, because if you've ever watched any of my videos, if you ever played in any of my houses, you might notice that I go a little bit over the top. Some might say with the rug placement and the plants and things, but listen, that's my jam, okay? When in doubt, place a rug or place a plant. That's, you know, That's honestly my best advice for Sims builds. If you don't know what to put somewhere, place a plant or place a rug. It's okay. That's my philosophy on it anyway. I'm sure there's going to be some people thinking, or, you know, sort of saying to themselves, Rach, look, you and your plants and your rugs, it's too much. And maybe it is, but it's who I am now. And I feel like, I remember when I did, I think it was last weekend at this point, I did an on-camera video where I did a build challenge that nearly destroyed me, by the way. But I did a build challenge and I had less than 10,000 simoleons and I had to fit, was it 4 or 5 Sims in a tiny house? And I was placing rugs here, there and everywhere. Like, my brain was just like, well, we need to put a rug there. We need to put a rug there. My money could have been spent in a much better way during that challenge. I've no doubt that people will have just been going, oh my gosh, like, she has an obsession with rugs. And it's really funny as well, because my house in real life, I have quite a lot of rugs in my house in real life as well. Like, I don't have multiple ones in one room. There's only ever one rug in a room, but I'm pretty sure that each and every room in my house has a rug. Does anyone else have the same thing, or is it just me? It'd be interesting to hear your stories on rugs in your houses. But anyway, the kitchen has come together so nicely, and I was actually thinking, and I'm a bit upset that I didn't do this actually. I wanted this family to have a dog, and I even thought to myself, right, let's remember to place a pet bowl in the kitchen, and I did not remember to place a pet bowl in the kitchen whatsoever. So if your Sims have a cat or a dog, I would highly recommend adding a pet bowl, because I did not do that. But also, okay, so what I've done here, I've gone onto the gallery and I've pulled out some children's artwork. I will put on the screen for you now the name of the creator on the gallery. So if you are looking to do the same thing as me, then this is the person that you need to go to. These sketches are so beautifully done and executed, and I've used them in many rooms in this house. So I cannot sing their praises enough. They are a wonderful creator, and these are available on the gallery if you'd like to download them. So the name will have appeared on the screen for you. So I've put so many of those pictures in this house, again, just to get across this sort of family friendly vibe. And again, with like blank wall spaces, I have a thing about blank wall spaces. They can't exist. They cannot exist in my houses in The Sims, and I'm trying, okay? I'm really trying to come away from that, but I can't see it happening anytime soon. I really can't. I even tried to like space them out a little bit, you know, so that it looks a little less intense. But the kitchen's come together so nicely. Like, look how good this looks. It's just so cozy. I can imagine like baking a cake in here, or some cookies on the weekend, or the kids coming in from school and the parents made some tea for them to eat, and everyone's just sitting around the dining room table, which by the way is located behind this door here. And then that's, I think, the room that we work on next, or we might sort the hallway out next. Actually, I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to wait and see. It's not like I only just finished this morning, but I have the memory of like Dory from Finding Nemo a lot of the time. So I'm lucky I remember my own name most days. And then I tried to clutter up this sort of middle table here, and then I decided, you know what, I think we could have just gone too overkill with it. So yeah, we do work on the dining room next. It's a very small dining room. My sim did not have any issues getting through here, but I know that sometimes I might not have an issue, but then you might have an issue when you download the house. So I do apologize. If you do have a problem with it, all I would do is shimmy the table up to the window. That's all I would do here, and probably remove the plant and the lamp maybe onto the other side of the room is what I would suggest. And I almost did that before I uploaded this to the gallery, and I didn't. I completely forgot, so I do apologise. But everything else is play tested in this build and worked perfectly fine for me anyway. So yeah, anyway, then we go back and steal some more of this artwork from the wall that's still in the garden. You'll see me going back and to and fro there. What am I trying to say? You'll see me nipping back out there a couple of times during the video. Specifically, I think when we move up onto the upper floor for the kids' room, I know that I placed quite a bit of artwork in their room, which isn't really a surprise, is it? Because it's a kid's room, so I just thought it fit in super well. But yeah, this is the entryway, and it was really nice to be able to kind of put this together. It's not really like an entryway that I've ever done before, so it was just really refreshing. We've got a little bay window here. I think I end up adding a dollhouse, but it's the one from Eco Lifestyle, the one that looks like it's made of cardboard. It's so cute. So I think I size it down one though and put it there, if I'm remembering correctly. But it's more for decorative purposes, to be completely honest. If you wanted to make it bigger again, and then yeah, I did size it down. Yeah, you could do, but it might be a tight squeeze. And then we just use these curtains here again, but they are a little bit short when I size them down. I think looking back, I would maybe put something else there, but it looks cute. Okay, and I don't know whether the child Sims can still use the dollhouse if it's sized down. I would assume they can. The animation probably just looks a little bit weird because it's sized down one. Anyway, and then we move on to the garage space. If you wanted to, you could definitely turn this into an additional bedroom if you wanted to, but I did my usual of it's just kind of like a clutter room, recreation room. There's a couple of activities in here. I added a Christmas tree because why not? I think a lot of people keep their Christmas trees either in their garages or in their attics / lofts. I know that ours is in our loft, but I just thought I've never done it before, so let's whack a Christmas tree down. Why not? And then maybe during Winterfest you can literally just grab it from the garage and then put it in the living room. I think that would be super nice. And I also apologize as well if anyone can hear my throat gargling. I've drunk so much water today, and I just feel like I'd be having to cut it out of the whole footage, and it would just be a little bit like all over the place. So I thought I'd mention it just in case anybody can hear it. I would assume you can only hear it if you're wearing headphones. So if you're wearing headphones, I would like to apologise profusely. If you're not wearing headphones, I'm probably saying it for no reason whatsoever. But then that's the garage done. It didn't take me long at all. And then we move on to the upper floor. So we do start working on the main bathroom for this house. So if you might notice, well, you probably already have noticed, there isn't a bathroom on the ground floor, which is very unusual for one of my houses, but the floor plan just would not allow for it. I could have technically turned the dining room into a bathroom, but I felt the space was better utilized as a dining space because the kitchen, I mean, we could have added a dining table instead of the cats and dogs table with the bar stool. I definitely could have done that, but I didn't. So this is a 2-bed, 2-bath house. I don't know if I even mentioned that, but so this is the main bathroom up here, and then this is the kind of landing space. So yeah, I just added some decorative pieces here. There's also a chair, just in case your Sims fancy a little relax on the chair at the top of the stairs, because why not? And then the main bedroom has an ensuite, which I thought was quite nice. But given the fact that there's 4 Sims, I envisioned 5 if you do have a cat or a dog, or possibly more if you wanted to convert the garage, I still think that this bathroom setup is ideal for the size of the house, and not everybody has a bathroom downstairs. You know, I think it's becoming more common now in houses that are built, but I feel like more traditional houses possibly don't have bathrooms downstairs. So that's also another thing that I took into consideration. It's absolutely not. The floor plan just didn't allow for it. So I can sit here and pretend, or I could just be honest. So I think I'd rather just be honest. The floor plan just wouldn't allow for it. So unfortunately, there isn't a bathroom downstairs. But then we start working on the main bedroom. And now that both bathrooms are completely done, and again, we've just gone for like a really kind of bright, but sort of, again, cozy colour scheme. And I adore how it looks. And these curtains from Growing Together, oh, I love these curtains so much. They come in such beautiful swatches, and I was just thrilled that I was able to add them in this room. Okay, before anyone comes for me as well here, this built-in wardrobe seemed like a really good idea at the time, but for those of you with a keen eye, can you see it's gone into the bathroom, like the main bathroom? I did not realise this until I'd finished this bedroom. So I ended up correcting it off camera. Please do not panic. I do realise, I mean, how did I not realise at this point? It's looking at me. I can literally see it looking at me. It's so obvious. I was a bit gutted because I love adding built-in wardrobes to bedrooms, and the fact that I thought I had it, and then when I realised, when I stopped filming, I was like, did I really just do that? So I thought I'd verbally mention it because I don't want anyone thinking, Rachel, are you stupid? Like, what's going on with the wardrobe? No, I did realise, and I sorted it off camera. So you might just see glimpses of the main bedroom when we're doing this one. But this is the final room that we work on. This is the kids' room. So I did give them a bunk bed because I was going to say it feels like it's been ages since I've used bunk beds. That's not true at all. I've used bunk beds relatively recently. So that's a lie. I was going to give them each like a separate beds, but I love the bunk bed idea. I really do. So this is where it kind of comes into it. So I envisioned twins. One's a boy, one's a girl. So the boy has the top bunk, who's got the dinosaurs, and then the girl has the bottom bunk, which is like the kind of soft lilac with the rainbows and stars on. I just thought it was so cute. And then I went to town on the clutter and the artwork in this room. I'm just thrilled with how it turned out. And again, these little pictures from the gallery, I cannot sing these little pictures enough praise. I really can't, and I'm just upset that I hadn't even done it up until this point. But you're probably going to be seeing them a lot in future builds because they're so cute, and like they're such high quality. And I don't know how the creator made them. I don't know whether the Sims in game actually sketched them. I don't know whether it's something that they've I really don't know. I don't know how they made them, but thank you so much, because I can see myself using them in so many of my family houses in particular. So yeah, here we are. So I was trying to stick to a colour scheme. I was trying to stick to a colour scheme in this room, and it kind of went out of the window relatively early on, which actually turned out for the best in the end, because I do think that given the sort of vibe and coziness and mismatched vibe of the entire house, I felt it was only appropriate to do the same thing with the kids' room. So there's plenty of clutter in here, there's plenty of activities, they've got a TV in here, they've obviously got a dresser, they've got plenty of toys, and I think the bunk beds, I love the fact that we can change the swatches of the top and the bottom bunk, because it really allows you to kind of mesh two styles and two colour schemes together, which is exactly what I did in this room to try and get across that we had twins, but like that were quite opposite in this room. I'm hoping it came across. Looking back on it now, I feel like it does. But anyway, we are almost at the end of the video, so thank you so much again to Blank Space for sponsoring this video. And if you would like to download this house from the gallery, you can do so right now. My origin ID is RachelPedd. Tray files, as always, are linked down in the description box just down below. You can get them for free from Sim File Share. But thank you so much everyone for joining me here today. You all take care, and I will see you again next time. Bye!